You know how much I love the Gasifier stove. I looked these up to just see if there's been any changes. I think I bought this about 3 years ago. This product's still available. They've come down in price. You know, they're about 16 bucks now or something like that. Lots of different brand names, same product. They've improved them with some of them have 4 pot supports instead of 3 like this one will have. I recommend that. Some of them have holes cut in them so you can add fuel while it's cooking. You get a grill. You get the solid fuel plate that sits on the top. You get the top burner plate, that's your pot support. Yeah. This is the ashtray, goes in the bottom. The top and the bottom, and excuse me, goes that way. And it goes together like that. So I've burnt almost every kind of fuel I can think of to put in here. One is obviously wood, which is what makes the gasifier part work. It burns the unspent fuel in the form of smoke. It re-burns that after it gets hot. It takes you know, 15-20 minutes to get this up and going. You have to cut the fuel. If it's on a really rainy day, it may pose some problem with getting that to burn. It depends on your skill level with burning wet wood. So in lieu of that, I've used the solid fuel plate. I've used solid fuel pellets. I've used alcohol of all types, pure grain to rubbing alcohol. I even burnt cooked one of my meals. I didn't burn my meal. I cooked one of my meals in with Brute deodorant because it's basically solidified alcohol with a fragrance in it. So that was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that video, try out Brute and the Gasifier. Okay, but today I've got something different that I've done. I brought my gas stove. It's my split stove. Like a hint of gas came out of there. Wow. Okay, but it's a split stove. And you know how these work. You put the tank on this end, like this, screw it on, stove goes down, and you cook on it. Okay, and I really like this idea. I don't like this one because it used a lot of fuel. That was my reasoning for not continuing to use it a lot. But I thought, how neat would it be if I could put this burner inside my gasifier? Now, why would I want to do that? Well, this has a lot of good features to it that I like. It's stable. It sits right on the ground really nice. It's not too high. It's a wind screen to stop the wind from blowing. That makes it really nice. And with this inside, I believe I can achieve a very low amount of fuel to do an awful lot of work. And I don't have the smoke. I don't have the cleanup. What I had to do to get that in there, I'll show you this. The bottom ring has these holes, air vent holes. But I needed to get this pipe through, and it won't go through there. So sometime back I had already cut out a piece right here. See, so I notched out another piece. Now as you can see, I'll show you this. I'm not really good with my Dremel tool. I haven't had too much use with it, but I put a metal cutting bit on it and took out a section right here. And if I push this in like that, it will slide right through. And now I'm fixed so that I can stand this up inside my gasifier stove. You'll see how this comes together. Looks kind of silly at the moment, but I've used this. It actually works quite well, and you get an awful lot of control out of this. Now, what I don't recommend is the pocket rockets, where the tank is attached to the burner, and you put that inside an enclosed housing of this. Even though there are air holes at the bottom, I think a lot of reflected heat could make that cylinder a volatile, explosive product, and I don't want to be anywhere near that when it goes off. Because not only will it just rupture the tank if it gets too hot, it will explode the propane and butane mix that is inside it. It will give you quite an explosion, and I think, and do a lot of damage. There's a funny idea about things blowing up like that from Carl O. If you've followed him on YouTube, he has a funny story about rocket sausages. and try to look that up. I'll try to leave a link for it in there. That's a nice funny story about things that explode in fire, rocket sausages. So anyway, we'll get this set up and I'll show you what we're going to do. So what we've got is the tank here, over here, goes through to the bottom. The stove sits on the ground. This sits around it. Now mine is a cheap split stove, bought on clearance sale, and it just so happens when I put the thing down around it, I'll take that one off and you can see it a little bit better. I'll leave the pot supports up because it's going to be higher than that. When I put it on, it actually centers the stove inside. Let me get it better in frame. It centers it inside, so I was kind of happy about that. That was a pretty good setup. Let's light it up. Just put the pot support on. Just like that.
In a previous video, I roasted green coffee beans for about 1 hour. I then cracked and boiled the beans for about 10 minutes to make coffee.
I'll show you, if that's not too hot. There she is. See?
After that, I cooked Spam and eggs with cheese flavored with Mikey sauce. This ran for another 20 minutes.
Open it up a little bit more. A little more heat. See down in there? And that's some control right there. And as much wind as I had earlier, it was really nice to have the windbreak.
After cooking for close to 1 hour and 30 minutes, I still had approximately 1/2 of a 250-gram cylinder left. If you'd like to see how well this worked, please go back and watch the previous 2 videos, Wild Roasted Bushcraft Coffee and Mikey Sauce Spam Timber. Let me know what you think with your comments, and like and subscribe if you can. And thanks for watching my videos.